Same t-shirt. Trust me, I'm a doctor. This is reacting or watching, not reacting, okay, unlike that. Watching StarCraft II Alpha. So this video is released about 7 years ago, and I think it's released, or it was made like much after Wings of Liberty was released. But at one of the BlizzCons, they were showing how Alpha, StarCraft II Alpha looked like and how it kind of developed to where it is today. Let's do it.
Hello, BlizzCon. I'm Dominic Filion. I'm a lead software engineer for the graphics team on StarCraft II. And what I want to share with you today
This is the loudest, by the way.
Graphics in StarCraft II has actually evolved over time. Now, does anybody in the audience remember seeing screenshots of the first StarCraft in the alpha version?
I don't.
Anyone? Yeah. So if you remember, we got some of those here. Back in those days,
Oh, subtitles. Could do that.
hated that. That was the left side picture, right? So
Holy!
everybody hated the picture, and we had to go back and actually change the look of it and actually make it look much better.
Wait.
Yeah. So if you remember, we got some of those here. Back in those days, everybody hated that. That was the left side picture, right? So everybody hated the picture, and we
looks
had
terrible.
to go back and actually change the look of it and actually make it look much better. So you might be wondering, did we go through the same process with StarCraft II? And yes, we did indeed.
Like, what are these things? The units look completely different. That looks like a big drone with a thing on his head. Like, this looks like one of those games, like old, like, strategy games that, like, 4 people played. You know? It looks completely different. Look at this. What is this? Is this Spire? Huh.
So what I've been doing
Looks like Flash
is
game,
for
yeah.
the past 6 years, I've been secretly stashing old builds of the game on my personal computer just for this day. And today, for the first time, I'm going to show
6
you
years.
very old footage of how StarCraft II came about and how it looked in the early beginnings. So let's go back to the archives and see what that looks like.
So he worked on StarCraft II graphics for 6 years till the moment it got released in 2010. So they started making in 2004, the graphics at least. So if there is ever a StarCraft 3, that would mean that it's already being worked on. Right? One can hope.
So we're going to go back a few months after I started working at Blizzard, and that was June 2005.
2005.
This was build 385. This was the intro screen. And what you'll see is actually a little bit embarrassing because it's pretty primitive. So we started with the StarCraft I units. We didn't have any.
That's actually pretty cool. They literally started with StarCraft 1 everything, except they kind of like modernized it a little bit.
Units. This was the early versions of the models. The UI obviously needed a bit of alignment work to actually get it properly working. And
That SCV
we
is
didn't have a
huge.
sound engine yet, so no sound in the video. So all we did at that point was just getting the old StarCraft 1 stuff actually working. And the explosions were absolutely awesome.
Dude, look at the battlecruiser dying.
So if we move a bit further off, that was a year later, 2006. So now we actually put in something that would look more like a genuine model of the game. We had a cliff system that was put in, some basic lighting. We were kind of experimenting.
The SCVs are
with
different.
at this point. I think, let's see, what did we have? We were putting in some new units, if we're going to see in a few minutes.
Like, I've talked about this before. Why don't we have Brood War sounds in StarCraft 2? Blizzard, it's literally copy-paste. We want that. Let us give you our money.
Yeah, it's not there, but we put in the particle systems, which would allow us to show actual blood coming out of the rings and all that kind of stuff. So that was our first version of that. And then this was a couple months later. So this is when we actually started putting in new units, and some of the units you'll see today have actually been either heavily modified or they're actually gone from the game. So there's the Guardian in there.
Okay, what do we see? Okay, medevac has been there since the beginning. Thor, we saw it in the 2010 gameplay videos that I also watched. It's up on my YouTube channel. That Thor was a hero unit, like Mothership was. It was a hero unit that you built on the battlefield. What is this? Reaper, Ghost, Medic. Wait, so there was a Medic and Medevac? Oh, but the Medevac probably just dropped units. Is that a Banshee? That's a Vulture? Siege Tank, Goliath? Wraith, maybe? And I don't know what this is.
There's the Cobra that has changed. The Thor was much bigger back then. So we put in some special effects and some beams.
There's Firebat.
And the explosions were actually a little bit improved. At that point, where were we? I think, oh yeah, we started working on the Protoss.
What a pylon!
Pylon energy grid we put in. We had our
These pylons are so big. What the hell? Jesus.
first experiment.
Okay, what do we see here? Stargate? What is this? Is this Robo? This is Observatory. I guess this is Robo. It looks weird as hell. It looks like a butthole. The probes look pretty much like probes. What are these? This is, I'm assuming, Corsair Dragoons. I guess those are Zealots? I don't know what these are. These look very interesting. And this flying thing?
You can see some Dragoons that were still in the game back then. The Purifier, which is one of the units that we subsequently killed. And this is what Creep looks like when you put a bunch of programmers in a room without an artist to actually give them direction. But we had our first version of the Creep.
Look at those Banelings.
Stage at this point.
So the Banelings initially, by the way, were much bigger. And we saw that in the gameplay in 2010. They were much, much bigger in size. You can see the size of the Zergling and the size of the Baneling. Look at the Defiler, it's so small.
Stage at this point.
Let's see.
Moving on, 2006.
Ooh, that looks way better.
We put in the glow tech in the game and the high dynamic range colors. So we started putting beams as well and all sorts of cool effects and actually getting something half today. What you see here is actually the old Archon, which was much bigger, and you could actually spawn it by just merging 3 Templars together. This is the mechanic we subsequently changed.
Dude, that's so cool. Also, I want to point out another thing. Look at how units move down the ramp.
This is when we put in the glow tech.
Look how they move down the ramp.
And the high dynamic range colors.
It feels like they're going down the ramp.
Well,
I don't know if you guys see what I mean by that, but that's cool as hell, man.
The old Archon, which was much bigger, and you could actually spawn it by just merging 3 Templars together. This is the mechanic.
Is it expiring? Look, if you look at right here, which you can't see because of the text, this thing is expiring. So maybe they were like a unit that expires after like 30 seconds or a minute. 1.2k shields and 100 health.
When we changed.
Wow.
So this is an actual much closer version.
Oh, there are the
that
queens.
we actually put in later. If you look in the video, you'll see it was actually reflective. This is something we changed afterwards because it was kind of slow. The creep was pretty slow, and it was kind of distracting to actually see twice the same unit on the same screen.
Oh yeah, you can see
But
the
at that point,
reflections.
we had really started to dial down the look of the Zerg and the Theron.
Oh my god, the
Protoss.
roaches are melee.
We're actually getting something that looks a lot closer to what we have today. Does anybody remember seeing the announcement of StarCraft II in Korea, like the early
I remember.
videos? This is the build that we use, and this was the first time we showed it to public. Blizzard actually shipped the whole team to Korea, and we had this huge stadium to actually see how the people would receive the game. It was the most exciting moment
The thing
in my
froze.
life, really. This is July 2007. We put in foliage on the terrain, as you can see. So we
Those gateways look really cool. I mean, you can see that this gateway turned into gateway we have today. Looks cool.
Really
Forge looks exactly the
polish out
same.
Maps and actually give them a more finished look. This is when we put in the line of sight blockers.
Hydras look really nice
With
here.
that mechanic.
They look really nice and sharp.
And then a few months later, October 2007, we put in scorch marks underneath buildings, kind of little polished items to really kind of anchor buildings to the terrain and actually give the final look for buildings. So at that point, we were actually quite close to the look of the game that we have today. But this was 2007, so you're probably wondering what the hell have these guys been doing in just 3 years between shipping. Well, we optimized the game, and we fixed some bugs, and we worked on the single-player campaign. That was 2008. And then in 2009, we optimized the game some more, and we fixed more bugs, and we worked on the campaign some more, until 12,000 builds later, we shipped version 1 of StarCraft that we have today.
Damn.
So let's move on to Swarm. Anyone here play on the lowest quality setting for graphics in StarCraft II? Yeah, I hate you guys. So we're gonna improve that. It looks terrible. It looks terrible on low, but we're actually gonna improve that and not make it any slower than it is. We're actually trying to make that, and pro players love playing on low, so we're gonna actually focus on that. How many Zerg players do we have here today? So for you creep lovers, we're going to actually improve the look of the creep quite a bit. So as you can see, the creep is actually growing on the buildings of your enemy. So you can actually infest his buildings and really show him you're really corrupting the heart of his base. Another thing we're going to
See, this is when Blizzard, this is what I was talking about, this is when Blizzard was still working on StarCraft. That thing, for example, to have creep corrupt the buildings, even though it didn't do anything, it's just visual, didn't change the game, but they were working on things. And I feel like in Legacy, boop,
going to be working on, there's a lot of units in the Zerg race that...
And that's it. Wow. It's pretty interesting to see, I mean, how it started and where it ended. And, I mean, in just 1 year, guys, they went from, where is it? They went from that to builds like these that feel way more complete. It's kind of crazy. These Hydras, by the way, look really cool, I gotta say. And also, what did I want to say? There was pylon somewhere. Oh, in right here. Oh yeah, the pylon, the colors on the Nexus and the pylon look really cool. They're like, they look very, very strong. Especially the red thing on top and these gems or diamonds, whatever you want to call them. They look really good. Cool. But yeah, that's it. That's the StarCraft II alpha. It's really cool to see like where it started and, you know, how it became StarCraft II and then in Heart of the Swarm and so on and so forth. But again, if they started working at it in 2004, 2005, let's say, that means if there is StarCraft III coming, it's being made as we speak. If it's not being made as we speak, then we're nowhere close to it. I mean, I don't know how long it takes these days to make video games, especially like big ones like, you know, RTS games. But if it's 6 years, then yikes. Anyway, this is it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys on Twitch enjoyed the stream. I want to thank you everyone for watching. Let me know what you think. I'll be in the Twitch chat for a little bit longer. For you guys on YouTube, thank you as well for watching. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night and have a good one.